Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Alhamdulillah, man. So we having a discussion, man. I let the brothers convince me to go ahead and record it for YouTube. I really didn't want to. It's one of them discussions, man, that people ain't, it ain't for everybody. And it's going to be brief, man. Inshallah, bi'ithni Allah ta'ala. So, the brothers was basically asking me, about learning a Madhab from the beginning, right? And, what's my main issue with it and why I feel like I'm going to be bucking, which I'm bucking already. I knew I was going to be bucking before we started. Like what's some of the main things that I see from it and what I recommend it for people, okay? And then they asked me about when I was saying sometimes scholars look at what other scholars said about something and didn't necessarily do a deep dive, and they was like, why do I feel that way? Why do I say that? And I say all you got to do is just look at a lot of when you look at them enough. For instance, if a scholar say, well, we gonna do this and this because Imam Ahmed Hanbal said this. Okay, Imam Malik said this. Okay, Imam Hanifa said this. Imam Shafi'i said this. They looked at what they said and agreed with it. Ibn Taymiyyah said this. Not saying that those individuals was wrong in anything that they said or taking credit from them for anything that they said, but you can also see sometimes scholars go take a deep dive and then they say these particular individuals made a mistake in this. Like some people may say it comes to particular hadiths. This is a major issue and people wrote whole books about it. When it came to particular hadiths, they'd be like, okay, and I'm going to tell y'all something. Since books and stuff that I've been noticing, people not saying it like they used to. So like a long time ago when you seen on the internet, anytime it was a hadith or it was quoted, I say about 90% of the time, whether it came from Bukhari or Muslim, wherever it came from, it would be like graded this way by Sheikh Albani. Or like books you have that quoted a hadith at the bottom, in the footnotes it'd be like graded this by Sheikh Albani. Like even if it was Sahih, it'd be like graded Da'if by Sheikh Albani. Or if it was Da'if, it'd be like graded Sahih by Sheikh Albani. And it used to be a lot, like you used to see it a lot on the articles, and you would see it in like books that was translated back in that time. But now that the books and stuff, now like a lot of the books and some of the articles that's translated now, you don't see it as much as you used to, because particular people came out and wrote books, and then even his own students wrote whole books on hadith that he changed his mind about. But the thing is, some of them, and this just the reality from what I seen, sometimes instead of going to look at the hadiths, but they may not have been a scholar of hadith, instead of like going to look at the hadiths and things like that, they would just look at what Sheikh Albani said about it and either agreed or disagreed. So sometimes they look at what other scholars say and their position, and then they trust them in it, and they just go with that. It's just a reality. That's not a criticism. It's just a reality. I even seen a PhD student. Well, he got his PhD now, but at the time when he was in school, and we was sitting with him, and he was doing a Q&A, and some people was asking him about taqlid, blind following, and he was like, because hadith wasn't his specialty. He wasn't going to school for hadith. So he was like, I'll admit I blind follow Sheikh Albani in hadith. You know what I'm saying? And now that he's a doctor in his field, I'm going to say he's a small scholar. Some people may not, but he basically a small scholar. And he, when it comes to hadith, like he said out of his own mouth, I go look and see what Sheikh Albani said. I don't have those tools and this and that to deep dive into the hadiths and the isnads. So I blind follow Sheikh Albani. So some people, that's what they do. They look at what a scholar said and they go with that. That's all you got to do is look at some of the rulings that they may come up with. Like they be like, okay, this may be haram, but I'm going to say it's not haram no more because Ibn Taymiyyah said this. And because Ibn Taymiyyah said this, based off of what he said, I'm going to issue a ruling this way. It happens all the time. It happens more than people think. But when you're not paying attention to it, or you're not looking into it, and then like not necessarily like myself, but some people be like, because like I'm going to say this, sometimes I hear people say Ibn Taymiyyah may have said this or this person may have said that. But then if you go look and find where Ibn Taymiyyah said that, more explanation may have been behind it or before it. And they took that one little couple of sentences. I'm not talking about the pork thing, just certain things. And then you'll see they added their own context to something that Ibn Taymiyyah said. Not saying a scholar, like just people who may call themselves students, people who may be students. Sometimes they take things out of context. If you go look at the whole thing, not just me, but I'm saying from other scholars, be like, no, you got to look at the whole thing. That was taken out of context. Because I don't want to make it like it's just me doing this. And like what I'm saying, this isn't just like, this is an independent opinion of mine. I mean, this is just a well-known fact. In some issues, some scholars go look at what another scholar said. And then they may look at what two scholars said. And then they may disagree with this one and agree with that one. And whatever this, hey, I agree with him, so that's what I feel. It's just a reality. So with the Madhab, I'm only going to point out one issue. And I'm not going to say it's an issue. And some of y'all may have heard of this. I mean, I heard of it, but I don't like it. I don't like it, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be honest with y'all. When it's coming to the test, alhamdulillah, I'm still an A student, right? Real close to a low A, high B, because I can't bring myself to answer some of these questions that way on the test. And because I'm so familiar with this stuff, and then like some of my classes actually be while I'm at work, so I'll be muted and I have my headsets on and I be at work working, moving around. Some of it I hear and some of it I don't, because they won't let me just challenge the test. So I be listening and I don't, like, man, hurry up, let's get to the quiz. So then when we get to the quiz or the test, I be answering some of the stuff from what I know. So I may miss like a half a point. So I'm going to tell y'all something like this. So prime example. And something that you also have to understand. Some of the imams of the madhabs, some of their students change things. Right? So let's say, for instance, I'm learning Shafi'i fiqh. Okay? From the beginning to the end. My teacher and then their assistants who learned from them and graduated from them. But then I have access to other people who have a higher level degree or the same degree as them in fiqh. So I can go to them. They might not agree. You know what I'm saying? So like sometimes even within the madhab, they split. So an issue is this. According to the madhabs, And as far as I know, Shafi'i and Hanbali fiqh, as far as I know from the beginning, they say that you can make wudu starting with your left hand first. Okay. Now, I see where some people I talk to, at some point in time, I believe, from what I'm seeing so far, I'm still new to it on the Madhab side, but not learning fiqh from a different point of view. But on the Madhab side, I'm new to it. So from some of the understanding that I have right now, at some particular point in time, according to what they know, Abu Hanifa and Imam Malik in the beginning didn't say that you could make wudu starting with your left hand first. Okay? But I guess later on down the line, all I know is now, in today's time, when it happened. So in accordance with all of the madhabs, in today's time, you can make wudu starting with your left hand first. Make wudu with your, like all of it. Start everything from the left side going to the right. The left foot to the right. Now, for me, this is for me. So what they say is, starting from the right side is just a recommendation. It's just recommended for you to do it. But if you want to make wudu starting from the left side, alhamdulillah. Now, like I said, I've heard that it was recommended because I heard it before, but when I heard it from somebody, them saying, starting from the right side is recommended, and you can make wudu from the left side if you want to. And, I was just saying to them, where do you get that from? Like, where did this come from? What hadiths, like, what did you using to say that? And they just said, that's what I was always taught. So I overlooked it. And then I heard it later on throughout life, and it's something that I wasn't never going to do. But now, when we starting to compare, because like I said, I'm in the beginning stages, and I'm starting to see, like, they saying if you want to, you could go ahead and make wudu starting with your left. and my thing is, like I'm saying right here, so even like in the class, right, or even having to deal with the teacher's assistants, I'm sitting saying, okay, alhamdulillah, I get it. But I need the dalil. I need the hadith they used. I need what the Rasul said this. I need to see what they said. That's where they ruling this, that is just a recommendation. You know what I'm saying? And then, the little stuff that they show. But like I said, man, I just know certain things. Like I said, I understand why they saying it. And I'm not going to be the one to say that it's not a recommendation. But I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm in a masjid and somebody next to me making wudu, starting with their left hand first, even doing their mouth, making wudu, starting from the left hand, going to the right, and then wudu and cupping with their mouth and this and that, I don't even want to utter the words. You know what I'm saying? Or even just looking at them and don't even be saying, hey, you're supposed to start with your right hand first. And regardless of what they've been taught, and then some, may say, well, you could just start washing the left hand and the right, but still you got to do the mouth and the nose with your right hand. And then some may say with the left, this, that, and the third. So, it's just stuff like that, man. And so you see on a test, is it permissible to start wudu with your left hand? I don't care what they say. I'm going to answer it no. I just got to miss it. You know what I'm saying? I just got to miss it. And like I said, man, not from a bragging point of view. Like I said in my video, I got close to 38,000 hadiths. So I can go I can go look at the hadiths, man, on all of these different things. And, not like I said, not like I'm a scholar or none of that type of stuff. I need to see something, man. I need to see something. And, like when I talk to him, like I said, man, I understand why he wanted me to look at, why he encouraged me to take this. And I understand what he's saying, but he basically saying, now you starting to feel what everybody done felt when they start to learn a madhab from the beginning to the end. And you got to bow down to it if you want to pass. You got to bow down to it. You got to answer it the way they want you to answer it. And since it's in the beginning stages, man, I have a little problem. And then, like I said, some of the class, because I ain't gonna say a lazy student. Like, man, I while the class be going on, if I'm sitting down, I'll be reading a book for another class that something else that I got going on while I'm listening to them at the same time, doing little stuff like that. But alhamdulillah, man, I'm still an A student, and the stuff that I answered wrong, which is only a couple of things, I knew that their opinion was. I knew what their opinion was. I just couldn't bring myself to answer a question, something like that. Yeah, you can make wudu starting with your left hand if you want to. And that's something like, if I see a new Muslim, just me personally, I'll never tell a new Muslim that. Like, look, I'm finna teach you how to make wudu, do this. But if you want to, you can go ahead and start with your left hand, and you can start everything from the from the left. Even when you making ghusl, if you want to, you can start everything from the left side. I never tell a new Muslim that. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. And what they are showing me for Dalil isn't strong enough for me to teach it to somebody else. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even going to mention it and say, hey, the right side is recommended. Because when you look at the hadiths and you look at the athars, they say, hey, the Rasul commanded us when we make wudu to do it this way. To start with our right hand. This is the way he taught us. This is what we always done. This is what he always did. Now, if it's a situation, I come across something and they say, well, a person accidentally made it with his left hand, or something was wrong with his right hand, so he had to start with the left hand, like conditional. I understand conditional, but like, if you just want to, there's no issues, there's no problem, and you just want to jump up. And see, that's why I almost want to dig into the books and do a deep dive. Right now I don't have access to them. I need to do a deep dive into Shafi and Hanbali and look, did they say it's permissible conditional? Like if your left hand or something going on where you have to, something like that. But like, just because you want to, I need to look at it. I need to look at it before I start telling somebody else, if you want to, you can start with your left side. That's just me though. And like I say, I'm not saying they wrong. I understand why they saying what they say. But for me to teach it and for me to tell people that, I need to see more. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And at this particular point in the beginning stages, I'm not being shown more. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't gonna say it's an issue. I'm saying it's a personal thing. You understand? It's a personal thing, and I'm not a person of knowledge, and I'm not up there like that. So that's why I'm saying it's a personal struggle. And you know, some people may be listening to this and be like, "You didn't know that?" And I can say, "I heard it before. I just ain't never accepted it. I'm still not accepting it. I'm still not accepting it. Not enough to the point I'm accepting, like, okay, I understand why they said it. I get it. But I ain't accepted it to the point where I'm finna go in the bathroom and be like, you know what, alhamdulillah, let me start making wudu with my left side first. man, I feel like a shaitan. That's just me. And that's what I want to say. If I see, that's just me. I'll leave it on me. If I go in there and start making wudu from my left hand side, man, I feel like a shaitan, man. I just me talking about it, doing that. Wallahi, man, it felt weird. And I'm just talking on the video, like even doing it now, it feel weird, man. I can't connect to it. So that's just some of the little things. But I'm learning to humble myself and bring myself down to a medium. And I'm going to do what I got to do, inshallah ta'ala. But I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to like it. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, especially, and like I said, man, it may be some people here and they're like, you need to know that. If you want to, you can make wudu with your left hand. I've heard it. I didn't accept it, and I'm still not accepting it right now. I never tell nobody that. You got to show me more. That's all I'm saying. So just little stuff like that, which it ain't a bad thing, but it's some more things like that. Just like how I said, man, when it comes to other things, just like I said with the ghusl thing, Hanbali fiqh may have 16 fard and recommended reasons to make ghusl. This one may have 9, they may have 6. And I may be able to, I'm finding the hadith, but then sometimes when it's 16 and 20 and this and that, my head is saying, okay, I understand y'all saying this in the Madhab, but where did it come from? I need to know where it came from. Who recommended this? Who made this a recommended act for ghusl? Who made this that? Who did it? Who was the first to say this? Point it out to me. Was it Umar? Was it Uthman? Was it Rasul? Where did this come from? So I'm still in that stage. Don't just tell me Hanbali said this, Shafi'i said this, Imam Malik and Hanifa, they said this. Where did they get what they got in order to say this? Let me have it. Give it to me. And it just meant half sabr. So that's all it is, man. It isn't the educational system. It's me. It's my personal problem. The defect that I have. You know what I'm saying? Coming up through hadith and being a hadith fanatic. You know what I'm saying? And it is alhamdulillah. So that's it, man. I hope I ain't making it sound bad. But at the same time, I understand like why people who don't read hadiths and this and that, or people say you have to stick to a madhab and they won't go outside of it, or if you give them a hadith and they say it's confusing, I understand why they say it. People who, especially when they learning a madhab because that's what their grandfather was and their great grandfather, and in their country everybody just Hanafi, and in this country everybody just Maliki. You know what I'm saying? And then hey, it's a different opinion and this, that, and the third. So I get it. And I mean, I've been understood that because like people look at my videos and then I be saying, man, when you travel and you see certain things in masjids, and some people may be arguing and some people may be declaring everybody innovators and calling them this and that because I understand madhabs have different things. I understand there's differences of opinion. So you're going to see certain things, That's why I say once you start to really learn, you will see a lot of stuff what people doing, it came from somewhere. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it, as far as ibadah and acts, a lot of it don't necessarily be, you can't flat out call it bid'ah because a lot of it do be in a madhab somewhere. Or a lot of it do be the opinion, one independent statement from a scholar. That's just reality. And that's why you see a lot of people of knowledge they don't just be declaring all type of people innovators. Now if they spinning around in circles and all that, that's something different. We're not talking about clear cut. But for instance, you walk in the masjid and everybody make a wudu starting from their left side first. You be like, oh man, y'all a little bit out. But then you see all of the madhabs say you could do that if you want to. You see what I'm saying? That's what I mean. I ain't gonna call nobody ahlul bid'ah. I could just sit down and say, that's something I never do. May Allah protect me from that. Unless it's some type of situation where I'm in a cast or all this is bandaged up and I just have to run the water on me and do like this the best I can, or let the water run on my arm. Like it got to be extremely conditional, or like may Allah protect me from it, but like something going on where the right side of my body don't work and it's conditional. But like with me, able-bodied the way I'm in, just going in there. But like I said, you may walk into a masjid somewhere and everybody make a wudu starting from their left hand. So that's what I mean, man. A lot of what you see, it comes from somewhere. It does. But like I say, some people just automatically train, that's a little bit off. They deviants. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, man, that's it. So it's just me. I have to bring myself down. It's a me problem. It's a me problem. You know what I'm saying? So I got to wrap my head around buckling down, man, and let me go ahead and dig into this stuff and just answer it the way they want. Because like I even said, in Shafi, Hanbali, and all of them, because like I say, I deal with other people, and then I have books already on some of this stuff that I already read, because I did a small level of comparative fiqh just to learn how to go look at the Quran and hadiths and abstract rulings, as opposed to just going and saying this madhab says that. So on that level, I learned to do the research and go and look and do deep dives and what's legal, what's not legal. You see what I'm saying? So I'm just gonna have to bow down. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna have to bow down, man. You know. And it's alhamdulillah, man. It's alhamdulillah. So that's it, man. You know, that's all it is, man. So, you know, would I recommend anybody to do it? Yeah, I would. I'm not gonna lie, because it's education, it's benefit in it. You know, because like I'm saying right now, it's a me problem. It's a me problem. It's nothing wrong with the madhabs and this and that. I'm just Ahlu Hadith, man. I come from a different science, but it's making me see, and this is what they want me to see. It's making me see, I always seen it, but now I understand it. I'm in the arena now. And now I see why Ahlu Hadith and the people of fiqh, I see why they always different. I see why the scholars be different. And that's like a lot of times when you see scholars who be different, a lot of times they be in different fields. It be a hadith scholar, a muhaddith, and a fiqh scholar, or fiqh scholars and one Hanafi and one Hanbali. They be in different fields. You know what I'm saying? So I see why. You know. So it's alhamdulillah, man. It's alhamdulillah. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would recommend it. I would recommend it. But I definitely would say keep an open mind. You know what I'm saying? Keep an open mind. And then at the same time, you can't be like, I can't be demanding because I already knew going in that it was just certain things they didn't have the dalil for it. So I can't be sitting up saying, where's the dalil for it, baby? Let me have it. I got to sit down and shut up and be like, okay, they didn't always have the dalil. They said it with their own mouth. If you go to travel and you come across some dalil, something from the Quran and Sunnah, that's what I would have chose. It's not in my madhab now because that knowledge haven't reached me. They couldn't just walk across the room and have access to like 38,000 hadiths. You understand? I understand that, and I knew that going into it. So that's why I had to tone it down. Because I'm sitting down like, give it to me, kid. Where show me something. And it's like, man, just, calm down, gym shoes. And just see it all through. You know what I'm saying? They had to calm me down and be like, see it all through. You already knew this from the beginning. Some people who wasn't aware of this stuff, and the madhab may have just been forced up on them because of their region. You know what I'm saying? And if it's been in a family for generations and generations and generations, and the only thing they've been taught is we don't go outside of this madhab, we don't need hadiths, we don't need these other things because the great imam already went through all these issues and made rulings. And all of it's safe. No matter what, no matter which madhab you choose, all of it is safe. There's nothing in it that's not wrong. You want to make wudu with your left hand? Go ahead. You want to do this way? Go ahead. But it's a hadith to say that. Oh yeah, we understand that it's a hadith, but that's just a recommendation. The Rasul didn't command that. You want to pray this way? You want to pray this way? You want to pray like this and woo out the woo? Well, it don't matter. It doesn't invalidate. It doesn't. There's nowhere that says your prayer is not valid. So, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing that says it's mandatory that, yeah, they said it, a couple of companions said that it's the Rasul said this and that, because my head is going to say, because I understand Ijma and Sharia, my head going to say, Allah Azza wa Jal said in the Quran, follow the Rasul. Take what he give you. Oh, just because he liked starting with your right, and he said start with your right, being that he never said anything about the left, there's no proof that it invalidates anything. So do it if you want to. that. So I'm a baby. I'm a baby. So it's just gonna take me a minute, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm wrapping my head around it, and I'm only in like the third week or something. I'm only like 3 weeks in. Know what I'm saying? And like I said, we on Akida, and then we doing a comparative. So like, it's with the compare where we looking at all of them and this and that, and then we have to answer in accordance with the madhab that I'm learning. And I be sitting around like, but all these hadiths and everything already in my head for what I've been doing the past 20 years. Oh, well, but what you're doing is still the best thing to do. Well, if it's still the best thing to do, it's the best way to answer. But that's a me problem. I'm going to tone it down. So that's, just to answer those questions, man. So, let me get up off of here, man. I don't want to get long-winded, man, and do what I got to do. I would recommend it, though, especially if you ain't done nothing at all. And you just all over the place. You done learned a little bit from this person, a little bit from that person, a little bit from a Salafi, a little bit of a Tablighi, a little bit of a from a Wharf Dean, a little bit from a Sunni, and it's just all over the place. A book for this, a book for that, some Hanafi. And I would recommend it because it may clean up, but then at the same time might be like, it don't matter what, it don't matter at all. Although the Rasul did say this, you could just go ahead and do what you like, because he also didn't say don't do what you like. And, but anyway, man, alhamdulillah, man, it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's going to end up being a blessing in disguise. I think it's going to end up being a blessing in disguise. I just have to calm down, and fall in line. That's all. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, man, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.